Industry Inner Join, uplifting data literacy across Australia and bringing conversations from data leaders straight to your ears. Get the insider information. My name is Douglas, former data analyst, now founder of DR Analytics Recruitment, and we're about to hear from one data leader. Welcome to episode 11 of the Inner Join podcast. Today we have Tim Sondalini as our guest. From studying law and building data platforms and data teams at the likes of Water Corp, Hesperia, and now Perth Airport, a man of innovation and data. We'd like to welcome Tim to the podcast, fan of a $1 sprint and hackathons. Tim, what do you love about what you do?
I think it's the creative problem solving. Let's put it that way. So there's a rationality to it as well, which is really appealing. It's numbers, it's data. It's supposed to be objectively true. And you use that to actually solve a problem. Like, this should be your solution. This should be an answer. That's really satisfying. Brilliantly satisfying.
Problem solving. For the people in the audience and listening, can you share a bit about your career? Because it's not linear, as we just said. It's squiggly.
It's pretty squiggly. I always get really nervous about when I get taken to a career day and people are like, follow what this person did. I wouldn't recommend it. So I spent way too long at university, spent 7 years studying law and political science, and by about year 3 knew that wasn't going to be my career, but persisted because I persisted. I can't really recall it. I was enjoying it, right? So it wasn't like it was a problem. I think it was super useful. But I think I did a lot of soul searching in that early 20s space. I'm a big fan of anyone coming out of high school, like, take a little bit of a gap year or do one of those like nebulous undergrad things and work out what you want to do. I wish I'd done that. But I spent those couple of years kind of working out where I wanted to be and what I liked. And it was this junction between kind of solving problems. For me, it was very civic minded, very kind of community service focused, very kind of government-y focused, hence the law bit. So I then got involved I thought technology was going to be a really big opportunity there. That's how we were going to solve a lot of these problems. This was the Obama years, right? So this is also like you're getting all these positive vibes about government can be good for people. So I went in, kind of lent into technology. I'd always been a computer gamer. Not a programmer. I'm an awful programmer, but a firm techno-optimist. So kind of took this law bit, took this technology bit, and found myself in WA's very early innovation ecosystem. So this place called Space Cubed, which has become a bit of a mecca and a bit of a hub for all things innovation in WA, had just started. And I think I remember I now talked to the lead and team, and I said, I literally contacted them out of the blue, said, can I help out? They said, sure, come along. And I think I was like one of their first interns. And that decision, that kind of getting out of that spot and saying, I want to go this direction, has been my career. So that career has taken me through management consulting. It's taken me through Deloitte. That was awesome fun, good work, really hard work, but fun work, lots of learning. Water Corporation, I managed the build out of the data analytics team, the kind of proof of concepting arm, which was really rewarding. Then to Hesperia, where again, business that was scaling, business that was growing, help us build data analytics and then the technology function. And then from there, again, Perth Airport tapped me on the shoulder and said, we're building out a data analytics team. Do you want to come and help us do that? And that seems to be that's my professional career, building teams in this data space, teams that solve problems. The confusing bit is simultaneous to that, there's been like this second tier career that's been forever running. So kind of like a side hustle. I guess everyone's got a side hustle. They should have a side hustle, but this has been a bit more involved than just a casual side hustle. So I've been running hackathons. So that first junction point at Space Cubed as well, I ran a thing called GovHack. I helped ran a thing called GovHack. Here for a couple of years, and that led to a business that I started, the Ministry of Data, that ran hackathons for government agencies, and then COVID came, and then I picked up a contract with the WA Data Science Innovation Hub, and I run their hackathons. And then a couple of years ago, I realized that was like, I love those things so much, love this energy, these people solving problems. that I said, I got to give this a crack. Like, I'm so happy doing these things. Let's see if I can make that more full time. So I work a wonderful 4-day week, which I recommend to everyone if you then are committed to running your Fridays really effectively. And the dollar sprint, which you mentioned, there's also a company called Civic Hackers that we've stood up to run at hackathons too, and WODSI as well. So it's just been awesome. I think we've probably run 7 last year, which was really, really rewarding. So it's like a multifangled career with this side hustle kind of leading my way a lot of the time. But it's been immensely rewarding to me. And I think the common thread trying to justify this very split personality is kind of this common thread around solving problems or trying to solve problems using technology.
I love that. There's a few myths that you break, and I'll cover those. You've got almost this shadow career of innovation and hackathons, while a public or professional regular career of your Deloitte, your Water Corps, utilities, airport, etc.
The wage earning career.
The wage earning actually brings dollars in, of course. What would you say to someone that is not sure and perhaps wasn't a programmer? That's the first myth busted. And secondly, studied law, didn't do a data science degree, but has that same passion. How did you break that traditional, you can't do that because you're not a programmer?
I committed to learning. So I think I remember the partner at Deloitte when he kind of taught me and said, listen, like, we don't stuff around here. Like, this is a programming house. You're going to have to learn. Like, so, you commit to learning, which is easy because you just spent years at university learning. But I think my skill set has never been the programming one. It's a translation skill, right? So my strength is acting as like a bit of a translator, effectively. I understand quite deep technical components, not as deep as a really good kind of programmer would, but enough to help that person work out the effort needed to deliver a piece of work. Building teams and motivating them is a skill that you kind of learn. I guess that's the human side or the advocacy side you learn in law, I guess. So that's the first portion. How do you convert from being a programmer? You don't have to become a programmer. You can lean on other strengths. You do need to be able to learn those programming tools and understand the technical components. The law bit, there's a surprising number of lawyers in the data science world. It's remarkable how many, Shelley Jane Price, so she was general counsel over at Chevron. She just joined Perth Machine Learning Group one day and said, I want to learn how to be doing machine learning, and has taught herself and now runs a law firm that focuses on machine learning and artificial intelligence. Another good friend of mine, turns out we were not friends in university, but it was a tic-tac to each other through pretty much every course. We then became friends a couple of years later. Like me, he never applied his legal skills. I think we both did a clerkship. Both were like, this is not what we want to do with our life. But it's remarkable how, like, what you learn in law is how to solve a problem again, right? Like, take a structured evidence body, set of frameworks, and then work out what's going to happen. That's kind of quite similar to a data engineering job, right? You take some data, apply some frameworks, do a little bit of data modeling, and what's going to happen is your insight. So it's the same structured problem solving that's really served me really, really well.
Moving on to the data teams you built, you've probably got a bit of mythology when building a data team. How do you look for the people that join that team and you hire, how do you look to hire them, especially if you're considering your own background, which is not as linear and traditional?
So it's a forever balancing act, right? Like, how do you play to the team's strengths and bring on people that support that strength and fill the gaps that you may have in that team? So you do follow, kind of tragically, those archetypal data engineer, data modeler, data scientist. They're just easy to talk to recruiters. They're easy to talk to the market about what you're looking for. And then I'm a painful recruiter. I think every recruitment person I've worked with is like, don't. No more, Tim. Stop requesting candidates. But I take it really slowly, right? And it's magical when you have that moment with an interview and you just kind of clicks and you're like, this person's going to gel really well with the team. And if that takes me 3 months, if that takes me 6 months, that's okay. It's frustrating, but it's okay. And then once you work out how that person and their skill set plugs in with that org structure you've built and the culture vibe underneath it, I can't describe anything more than that. It's a little bit of, it's more art. Is it more art than science? Yeah, it's probably more art than science.
I'm thinking of the person that's wanting to join a data team, whether it's at a Perth Airport or one of the places you've worked. How do they build their skill sets for you to go, hell yes, I need this person in my team?
So I think it's, and maybe, I don't want to say like I'm biased, but this is a pretty consistent thing. I talk to a lot of recruiting managers around. It's either, it used to be, we used to call it entrepreneurial skills, like a person could go independently solve a problem or apply their technologies and their technical knowledge to solve a problem. Similarly, for me, I guess it's that translation skill. Can they describe their technical work that they're doing to solve the problem? You need to stand out when you do that translation element, that kind of technical description. And then evidence of that technical depth, right? You bring, I am going for a data engineer role, very traditional, archetypal, stereotypical role, but I've actually seen this full thing. I've tried to fix a bit over here and a bit over here, and this is my strength, right? Showing that evidence is so easy to fit in with a team that way.
It must be. I think the recruitment process doesn't support hiring like that at times because you've got a 2-page CV with dot points that you have to make that cultural decision, problem-solving decision of as well.
The CV's a killer, right? I don't know. It's like this. You got to condense yourself into this thing. I don't think any of my CVs I've been proud of, right? I don't think any of them have said, "Oh, this is truly what I am." But you do your best to try and this is actually where I was epic at it, right? Like, hey, can you run through my CV? This is the JD. Like, how do I compare against these two components? But trying to actually, put a little bit of your personality into that statement. Don't rely on AI for your language, right? Use your flowery language. I like lots of flowery language. And put it in there. Like, make it a little bit, that person's a bit quirky or a bit different. That's what sticks out from the bunch.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I've been encouraging people recently to use Whisper or voice to text to talk about their career and experience, and then that will then blend with Claude to make it fixed to a CV in a formatted way. But you get it's your voice that's coming through. It's
your favorite words for the moment, right? Which then you kind of reflect back in the interview, and a person's like, "Oh, I remember. I can see this consistency between a person." I think how many CVs? You would have seen hundreds of CVs, right? And the ones that it's disappointing. Sometimes the most technically, like you look at a person's resume, you're like, "Wow, this person has done it all. They've conquered the world almost in this particular space," but the soul's not there. Right? That personality is missing. You're like, I'll take the interview, but I don't necessarily have the highest hopes for that chat. And that's always tricky.
You got to really enjoy what you're doing. One thing you enjoy is the innovation side. Let's move on to this $1 sprint.
Yes.
I'd love to hear more about it, and we've got a special announcement we'd like to float, but let's hear about what you're doing with the $1 sprint.
So the hackathon thing's been hackathon's been these innovation spaces that typically take kind of a weekend, couple of days. They're a real big investment from people's time. It used to be 10 years ago, you're like, hey, my gosh, you got a website together. That's brilliant. You did so well. 5 years ago, it was like, that's cool. You've got a website and a bit of a model going on. I can see what you're doing. Maybe you're sending out an email or something like that. That's really well done. You get first prize. And what I noticed is last year and really the beginning of this year, websites are done. It's so cheap to build. Modeling, done, really. Like you can put a model, it doesn't have to be precisely accurate for a hackathon. Like it's the whole point. So I sat down and said, you can do this really, really quickly. And at the same time, very coincidentally, I was at a hacker house over in UWA. And this, I can't remember what it was, but there's a lady, she was speaking about how she thinks build time's just gone now. Build isn't the thing that distinguishes you. And she said, you can build a business in a day for $1. And I then was talking to a guy at the end, and he came across, and we, at the same time, in the same conversation, we said, this $1 sprint was just pioneered over in Kuala Lumpur. And you basically compress the whole innovation process. No longer it's 2 days, it's 90 minutes. So you go from zero, you walk in, the idea is you walk in with your laptop turned off, and in 90 minutes you sprint to make your first $1 from some sort of technical project. It really is incredibly rewarding. So
$1 in revenue.
$1 in revenue could be on any kind of, so you lose lots of like mobile apps or kind of mobile wallets. We did have one guy actually bring in $1 and say, I made my $1. I was like, you've kind of done the purpose. So we've run this probably 2 or 3 times. I think there's been 4 or 5 across Australia and KL. And what we said, about a third of people make money. So that blew me away. When I ran it for the first time, I was like, there's no way this is going to work. And in 90 minutes, we did this at the Curtin Build Club. 3 people had like said, someone bought something from me. And I was like, this is awesome. And the energy was so fun. And everyone kind of walked away saying, I built something really cool. So this group of kind of KL, Sydney, myself, said, let's try to package this up as a product and actually get that out there to the market. So the $1 Sprint is something we've run twice in Perth. We've probably had about 50 people come through it, and everyone learns a whole bunch about the innovation process. For a lot of people, it's the first time they've gone, I wonder if I can run my own business. What does it take? 90 minutes, you can do it. In 90 minutes, you can give it a shot. It's so low risk, right? It's an afternoon tea. You learn everything about it.
I really love the idea of the $1 Sprint, and I think I wrote this down probably 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago. A time to revenue, TTR challenge, time to revenue. So how can you condense that time to revenue? Because so much of business and innovation is in I'm just going to keep working on this. I'm just going to keep working on this. Once you get $1, you have a scale problem.
Oh yeah.
How can I make 100 of these? Am I pricing it right? Is the cost of goods sold, is that too high? So you just start thinking about the proper business problems of operational versus the innovation side.
And I think that's the lesson from modern innovation theory and even like modern agile innovation data, professional data analytics stuff is it's more important to get that iteration out there and start iterating on it. Get the first product version out, get it to your customers. Does it work? Does it not work? What do you need to change? Rather than sitting there and coming up with the best product description paper that takes 20 pages, you've got market research, but no one's bought it yet. Like get it out there, get someone to buy it. It's awesome fun.
You buy it for $1, and then what would this have to be to buy it for
and
$10 or $100?
And $1 buys you. The thing is, it's also when people. My favorite bit is everyone's like, oh, there's nothing I can sell that's worth. I don't have anything worth my time. You're like, $1 doesn't even buy you a Kit Kat anymore, right? It doesn't buy you a Freddo Frog. But so it's such low stakes that you're like, hey mate, will you send me $1? Like, I'll send you $1 for pretty much anything because it's such low stakes that people then go, holy moly, someone actually bought this. Let's begin this adventure. Like you described, the go-to-market component. That's the secret plan. Get people out of that ideation space, celebrate the ideation, celebrate the launch. We celebrate everyone who launches a product, big celebration. Everyone stops, claps. First person to make $1, huge clap.
Get the bell going off.
Yeah. I think it was some pretty aggressive EDM music at the last one. But that'll be in the first 45 minutes. And then it's the questions like, how much money can you make now? And that's where the real fun begins. That's where people begin exploring like, wow, it's so difficult to find customers. It's so difficult to talk to customers. These customer people, they change their minds. Like,
he said he was going to buy it, never paid me.
He never paid me. And that's
get into debt collection process there.
For $1, I'll let it go, right? But that's then the magic begins. That's actually where you learn how to make a business, how to scale a business. It's all in this kind of like, it's the ideation's the simple bit. The product design now, it's commoditized. It's now, this has always been the toughest bit is the scaling component. And now you're straight into it in 45 minutes.
Finding customers.
Yeah.
I love it a lot, and that's why we will be sponsoring the next $1 Sprint, DR Analytics Recruitment.
Doug.
So we'll see that. We'll see that publicly in the next few months. We've got to iron out details.
We're going to have a lot of fun with that one. I think it'll be awesome. And I think it's good for everyone who kind of listens to this podcast or works with you, right? Like, how do I make myself distinguished on a resume? I made $13 in 45 minutes at $1 Sprint, right?
And now I'm going to make your company money as well.
I can't wait to see those resumes rolling through.
The perfect pitch.
Thank you, Doug. I can't wait to run with DR Analytics.
Everyone will hear more about it. How do you think, I think you've explained it, but perhaps not wrapped it into how AI has affected the innovation space?
I don't think the innovation space has quite worked out themselves, right? I don't think anyone who says, well, this is how it's going to happen is talking the truth. Like, it is moving so fast. Just this weekend, I changed how I work with my AI tools and feel like I took a step up. It couldn't have done the work. I know it couldn't have done the work it did on this weekend. It couldn't have done it 3 months ago. So like, I don't know, it's just scaling so fast. There's whole reams of startup incubators now that are all these kind of like, have a look at Y Combinator. It's the big famous incubator coming out of Silicon Valley. Every business is this AI business, and even the angles and challenges that they're trying to approach is so radically different. It's so easy now to get a prototype up. Have a look at Better Labs down the road here. They do some really interesting stuff with their prototyping, but it's almost the language we use is like demo before memo. Like, don't come to me with a business idea. Come to me with a website, right? Launch the marketplace. It takes you a day now. And, you know, if you get your first sale, oh, that's interesting. You don't sell anything. Okay, idea doesn't work. I can't wait to see like the younger generation, the groups like Yewa in Perth, the $20 Boss Club. Like, there'll be these 15-year-olds who'll just have like 20 businesses, and I can't wait to see what those people do. But I guess my guidance would be like, if you have an idea, put it on. Just go to Vercel, throw it there, get it to generate a website. And that's what you need to do now. Don't talk about, I've got an idea. Like, you can do that through natural language prompting. It's going to be a wild couple of years.
What I've found out with those ideas is I'll verbatim share my idea. The website will be generated. As soon as the website's generated,
you go,
I'm like, I don't really want to do this idea because that was the fun part.
Yeah.
Now I've got to go talk to people and try and get something to happen here. That's not the fun part.
But it's also, that's mad. I think that's mad. It is not, agree. That's exactly not the fun part, so don't do it. But that's also the magic, right? It's like, you don't have to be protective over ideas. I think, the notes I've got on my Google Drive, these dramatically cool books, games and ideas, right? Like, that was fun, you're right. But like, you don't have to hold on to it anymore. An idea you can enjoy for the idea. Let it pass away. Document it. Maybe you come back to it in 3 years and you say, that's the time. Let someone else blossom on it. Let them take that idea forward.
Yeah, my big thing is, once you build that quick website, do I want to commit the next 5 to 10 years of my life, 70 hours a week to this? And when I look at the website, I go, no, I don't want to do that. That's
100% the right question, right? Like, you need to have a level of, I mean, you've scaled your analytics from yourself to a team, right? It's hard yakka, and you need to love it. You need to want to do it, right? And if it doesn't sing for you, drop it. It's okay.
It's a quick way to see.
You'll have another idea, guaranteed.
AI for the good or for the bad? What's your overall take?
I'm a massive for the good fan. I think it's already changing the world. TikTok's full of slop for sure. So like, my social media's already changed, and I'm good at filtering that out. So I'm sure it's changing people for the bad as well. But that's like every technology. I think every technology has a negative component, right? You have a positive and negative part, and this is why I got into the law, right? Was how do you push forward the positive component and build the structures to control that negative bit? It takes generations to get it right. I think I don't even think we got the newspaper right. And the newspaper's 200 years old, right?
Yeah. It's always very negatively biased.
Yeah, but it's also like, even how we deal with, defamation cases. I don't think everyone would say, it's perfect. And so to assume we're going to get AI done in, 3 years and it's going to be correct, probably not. I think there's an interesting stuff, like have a look at, it was a really awesome podcast from that guy, Dorkish Patel. He was talking to this Renaissance scholar called Ada Palmer about the printing press, because he was trying to do like, is AI going to be as disruptive of Gutenberg's printing press? And she was actually talking about how it was a much longer delay around the impact. It wasn't the Bible, it wasn't the written word, it was these pamphlets that changed the world. I think there's a real question about how society adapts to those tools, but I think that's also like, it should be lots of fun. Hopefully not like the 100 Years' War and all the horrible things that came out of the printing press. But, there was also good. We get to read books now. The Renaissance began, right? So do we have something similar now? I think we're probably going to have to deal with that brilliant new Renaissance, and then probably some, negative components. But I think that Renaissance is bigger. The Renaissance is better.
Yeah. It's a different scale when you can click a button and everyone's got the latest release of Fable for 2 days.
For 2 days.
The US government intervenes.
Terrifying.
Any comments from the political science background, Tim?
No, I think it's a boon for the open source models. I don't think anyone quite thought the ramifications of acting to control one thing is going to lead to the proliferation of these uncontrolled models. I think that's really kind of potentially pretty scary because those things don't have any censorship on it. They know how to build a nuclear bomb, right? Like that's going to be a fascinating point about how we control the development of those open source models.
I've seen a big social and articles pushing towards businesses moving away from large enterprise AI companies and into their self-hosted models.
I saw it. So financially, as well as from a risk perspective, makes total sense. From a financial perspective, I saw this graph. It was like a Fable token was like 85 cents and like 85 cents per token. I'm getting it wrong, but it was basically it's all flat and then there's this massive column and that was the Fable cost. And I was looking at this projection. I was like, we're going to bankrupt lots of businesses with unrestricted Fable access. But it's like what's the Benedict Evans? It's like the mobile phone data from the 2000s, right? You know, when you blew out your mobile phone data budget and you'd be like, oh, mum, I've got to pay $1,000. Help me. Yeah. Parents shut down that pretty fast. It's the same analogy.
Except it's adults playing now.
Yeah.
The CFO shutting it down.
Yeah. Well, parents and kids may be the same.
Nice analogy there. How do you keep up with all the changes? Because, like we said, there's something new every week, every 2 weeks. What's your strategy?
I love I do a lot of reading. My first thing, grab a coffee in the office, and then I have like 8 websites I read every day. Make sure that I get the most kind of pieces of information. Sometimes I don't get to read everything. Sometimes the tabs are still there when I close the laptop at the end of the day. Podcasts, great. I go running with a podcast. Everyone thinks I'm bonkers when I do that, but works for me. Commute. I was really ticked off. I got a job once that my commute got halved in time, which was really annoying because I used to do a lot of reading on my commute. And then tinkering, right? So I'm not, like I said, I don't have my OpenClaw running at home. I don't have, I've got Claude Code on a couple of laptops. But, you know, putting to practice what you're kind of preaching, what people are seeing. There was a really cool newsletter I got, and this lady was talking about how she's got all her agents working together. And I was like, oh, can I do that? And literally took the newsletter, fed it to Claude, said, how do I do this? And it's like, oh, here's your options. And I did it. And it was pretty cool. And that was spent this weekend stepping up my game.
Yeah. What podcasts, what articles, can you share anything you're looking at?
Technology-wise, a whole bunch of the Silicon Valley stuff. Dwarkesh Patel, I've mentioned, his very nebulous and very theoretical, but really fun, really good interviews. Skip through them if you're bored, right? That's if you're not enjoying it, don't listen to it. But if you're finding you enjoy it, some real pure science stuff. Quanta Magazine has a bunch of really good science podcasts to keep you up to speed with that. A16Z is a venture capital fund. They've got some really good podcasts. They're very buzzy, very biased, probably too techno-optimist, but really interesting perspectives. The Economist is pretty good. Guardian's not bad. And then my 8, let me pull up, what have I got on my 8 to read items? So I do some old school ones. Ars Technica. Have you ever heard of that?
I've never heard of
that. Oh, this is big in the 90s. This is showing my age. Ars Technica is pretty good. There's another one, Slashdot. Slashdot was this big forum committee. It's like, and still there. They still have good comments. And Substack. There's some trash on there, but there's also, the first sentence is like, it's interesting, and then you scroll past it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it interesting. A lot of people keep up to date with social media, so they curate their LinkedIn feed. Or
LinkedIn.
like that.
I didn't mention that. Yeah, LinkedIn's huge.
Yeah.
It's funny, there's a whole professional data influencing category. I always find I get Instagram influencers, that makes sense to me. Data influencers, but...
what do you mean, mate? You're speaking to one right now.
I am speaking to one right now. The DR Analytics podcast.
Thanks, man. For those listening, you're in the right place. You've had the career and stayed out of, interestingly, oil and gas and mining as well. Was that a deliberate choice?
No. Well, most of my Deloitte stuff was oil and gas and mining. Literally, weirdly, no oil and gas. A lot of mining was when I went through Deloitte. So 2015 to 2018. A lot of mining. And I guess the broader version of that, like the techniques they use there is operational asset management, which is what Water Corp does. A pump in a mine site is similar to a pump in the Water Corp. So a lot of the experience and exposure I had in those mining places was actually really useful at the Water Corporation. The bit that's a bit different that no one understands until you kind of hit a tier is how things are funded. So mining, oil and gas, anecdotally have a little bit more kind of flexibility with how spend occurs, how budgets are built. The PUD process can be a lot faster. Have a look at what Fortescue's doing with their AI space, right? That was nothing 2 years ago, and then Leah's just kind of blown that up, right? Water Corp, a lot slower. The budgeting process is a lot more planned, which weirdly you need to have a lot more patience and a resilience to. It's a different skill set. So yeah, that's the capital. How they get the money is very different.
Interesting. I've always thought of it mining versus insurance or banking, how instead of customer data platforms, you have asset data platforms.
Yeah.
Where it's all about how much time series data you can feed in.
Yeah.
Which is completely different to how many customers can we look after and have all pieces of data masked as correctly as possible.
And then, yeah, your information governance is really strong on different components. That's fair, right? But I guess it's the business is achieving its outcome. It's still using the same databasing techniques. It's still using those same kind of fundamentals. It's just stitched together for a different business question. But I mean, yeah, you look to banking for the crazy cool what you can do with customer data. The oil and gas stuff, their asset management work, their kind of anything they're doing off of SCADA is just insane. I guess I've had it easy. I get to inherit a lot of that learnings. A lot of people publish their work, and we kind of in either the state government or quasi-state government, you get to kind of think on those things. Yeah, it's been still the same problem solving. I still love it.
Same problems. If you were starting your career in data analytics AI in Perth right now, what would be your advice to someone, or perhaps what would you do yourself?
I think so let's pull together a couple of threads here. So firstly, if you're really young, like coming out of high school early in your career, indulge yourself in a bit of exploration, right? Don't necessarily think I want to be a data analytics person, but if you've found that passion, you really love it. I think the way to really prove yourself, to show yourself, is get involved in stuff outside of your universities. Hackathons are my favorite, obviously. The dollar sprint would be great as well, but not just that, right? Like there's lots of community groups that are looking for someone with technical nous. A service desk, seriously, like a service desk job, people roll their eyes at sometimes, don't think it's particularly, glamorous, but that experience of people, like a good service desk technician who helps you saves your day. They're the unspoken heroes of technology. We should celebrate them more often. Those jobs are great for when you're at university, right? You can pick up kind of sit on a desk, sit on a call center. You'll learn a lot. That's a great way to take and expand those technical skills you've got with that brilliant kind of translation skill that you'll need to sell yourself. Hackathons, though. Do more hackathons.
I thought also approach SpaceCube for an internship as well.
Oh, they're tricky to get into now. But yeah, community groups it's what's wonderful is there's like little business communities all around Perth now. So your local shire, if you reached out to them, they'll have like a co-working space, almost guaranteed. They'll have a little business community group. Offer to help them out. Who knows where it takes you? You can end up with a split personality like me.
The best place to be. For a person that's a data analyst or a senior data analyst, but is gunning to be a manager and build teams, build data platforms, what's your advice to them?
That management step, you need to know you want it. It's not all roses up there. You can get a pretty decent wage being an independent collaborator or an independent contributor, whatever IC means to you. The management stuff, it is a little bit more about persistent proof, right? I've done this thing. I've had this vision. I've driven this piece of work. So I think those senior leaders roles, you need to kind of show a capability to pick up a piece of work and push ahead with it independently. You're in your remit. You've got your goals. You might have to put a couple of extra hours in. It's tricky to take that step and prove that you've worked with a team. But here's the key thing is a team doesn't mean they have to report to you. Your team can be your best buddy in finance who's really good at Power BI, you got the data engineering component, and you've got your mate who works out on the airfield in my situation who knows the system, right? That's your team. Use that little team to deliver something, and then claim it. Say, hey, I pulled this group together and we did it amongst our work. That's your team. And that's how you can start to show that evidence, right? It doesn't have to be, I did this person's performance review.
So you're saying is when you're an individual contributor, pick your vision or what you want to do and drive that change in the business?
Yeah, try it. And that's right. So I think the first bit was like, work out whether you want to be a manager. If you decide you want to give that a risk, give that a crack, you need to be showing that delivery cadence. You need to show that team leadership capability. And you can do that, Shippers, you can do that through lots of stuff outside of work. You can do that at work. You can pull together that team yourself. I think that's really a powerful way to show that, hey, I've got a vision here. I want to drive something. I want to build something.
What are some changes you've seen people drive for, or perhaps yourself driven for? And I ask that question to help people going, well, I don't know what I want to do. And an example might be I've helped push for self-service BI in the business.
That's the one that there's a guy I work with at the moment, and he did it independently. He said, hey, we're not governing how Power BI is done at the airport. I'm taking charge. I'm going to help set up some of these governance structures, run a little bit of a community myself. Natural leader, right? Like, he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know that's what he was doing, but it was really good evidence to show I have that role. I think BI stuff, governance is good.
Governance is a really good low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to look at, the manager doesn't really want to look at
No.
it. And you go, how about I drive a governance policy, not just a PDF that gets saved somewhere, but a committee that gets built.
That's right. And you can do it quite asynchronously. Teams chat works really well. SharePoint, Purview underneath the hood there, if you can operate that, get that access, you can actually do a lot of work in that. Be careful about changing file names and not telling people. But there's stuff you can do in that governance layer that's actually really valuable for AI stuff now. All the businesses who are doing their agentic adventure are going back and redoing their information governance theories. So that's low-hanging. That's a great point. That's a really low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, governance definitely. So here that's the thorn in the side of a lot of managers as
the
well.
The tricky thing with government, you can't let it drop, right? You pick up that bandana, you got to wear that for the next couple of years potentially. Otherwise, you're just a person who's half finished a project.
Yeah, the Perth data governance specialist.
Right, which is good. I need so many of them. Everyone needs more of that at the moment.
But things like driving Power BI standards, ingestion patterns.
Even, helping out with modeling if you're a bit more in the mathematically inclined space, or kind of if you find that, running training sessions is a great thing. I'm going to help train someone in Power BI, or I'm going to build this training space. It's tricky when you're trying to build those communities. You'll be the solo person shouting to the abyss for a while.
Yeah.
And that first person who comes across your way, you're going to make them the hero. And then it's their success. It's not necessarily yours. That comes later when you go for that job interview.
I like that a lot. On a personal note, what makes Tim outside of innovation? Do you have any other shadow careers we should be aware of?
Not at the moment. I think I'm okay. I discovered, hit my 30s, hit them. There's the meme, when you hit your 30s, you do barbecue smoking, bike riding, marathons for you, isn't it?
Not 30 yet, Tim. Thank you.
Sorry. You've hit it early.
Early onset 30.
I quite enjoy training for endurance events. I'm not a triathlete. I'm not going to break anything, but the training process, that mastery of yourself, really enjoying that at the moment. And learning. I can't stop reading. It's a problem I've got, to be honest. Wow. It's a great problem to have.
Well, I've got an offer for you. There's a 25-kilometre trail run on the 2nd of August I'd like to invite you to.
Ooh.
Would you like to confirm on the podcast? Yes or
no?
no?
I'll come along to that.
You're in.
Done.
Okay. Anyone else? Also welcome. Lastly, any final message to the data and AI professionals of Perth?
I think you're in a great space. This city is full of opportunity. It's not just the mining companies. There's lots of people beginning to say, oh, I can do different things here. So I think we're going to be the heroes at work for the next couple of years, which is great. So embrace the AI space, really explore what those tools can do for you. Don't be worried about the job stuff. It'll change your job, no doubt. But I think it'll lead you to do lots more fun stuff, or the fun bits you like to do. And if it's not, you're not doing it right. Use it to do the boring bits so you can do the fun stuff. And then show the person next to you how to do it too, and you'll be a bit of a hero.
I second that. I want to put Perth on the map for data and AI in Australia
Ooh.
and the world.
Yeah, come and have a chat with us at Curtin. We can definitely help you with that. That's one of the jobs I've got too. Another hat. Sorry.
We shall talk more. Timothy Sondalini, thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, mate.